I need all the wins, yeah. Ain't no L's, I gotta get it, no call and quits, yeah. Gotta keep on moving no matter how hard it gets, yeah. Better move out the way, cause I'm coming with harder hits. My head is as hard as a brick, but I'm harder than all of this. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. My heart on my sleeve.
Oh, man, it would be nice to come on this show right now and talk about a potential postseason berth for the New York Yankees or something along those lines, Derek. But unfortunately, we are not going to be blessed with that this year. No postseason in sight for these New York Yankees. How you doing, my friend?
You know, I'm hanging in there. It's been a tough summer, I think, for, not only the fans, the content creators, the players, but just pretty much anybody who, wants the Yankees to be relevant, because we're right now, we're just hanging on to relevance just by our name.
Yeah. The Yankees are going to be a draw no matter what. They are the New York Yankees, and that's always going to be the case. So it's funny, we're in a different spot because typically the Yankees are never just like out of it. Like, it's like, okay, we'll get in as a wild card and we'll figure things out from there. But as of right now, I mean, the Yankees are out of it. I mean, they're, again, I'll was telling Derek there's no point of throwing this stuff on the screen right now, but the hell with it. Let's just take a look. I mean, New York Yankees, this is the wild card right here. They're 11 games back in the wild card. And now, as I predicted, with Seattle being so hot as they are in the second half, now you got to pass Texas. You got to pass Houston, Toronto, Boston. The Angels have even pulled ahead of the New York Yankees. But even looking at the AL East, Yankees are 19 games back in the division. So, again, we're not going to be silly here and go, there's going to be a magical run that's going to happen and everything's going to fall into place. Don't worry, folks. We're not going to do that. We know it's over. And as me and you talked about before we went live, we kind of want to talk about what do we have to look forward to going forward.
Well, I mean, this time of the year, there's not much that you can, wins and losses don't really matter for us anymore. So for me, it's about watching the kids play. I want to see what Anthony Volpe can do. I want to see him finish strong and head into the next season or his first winter feeling confident. If he has a good September, maybe hits, 280, 290, gets that average over 230. Hey, that's not a bad, 20 home runs, 30 stolen bases. That's not a bad rookie year for 22. Yeah.
How many bags does he have now? Is he close? He's over 20?
Oh, yeah, he's over 20. I think he's got about 24. I mean, I'll find out.
He might actually hit the predictions I said. I said 240, which I don't think he'll hit 240. He has to get kind of really, really hot to do that. It's possible. 240, 20 homers, and 30 stolen bags.
He's got 20 steals.
He has how many? 20 now?
20 stolen bags, yeah.
I mean, that's not, the more you look at it, and yes, I understand, you could kind of pinpoint average and a few other things, but Anthony Volpe, you can see the things in him, right? Where, like you said, you could look forward to next year and go, I think he's going to be a better player overall. No doubt about it.
I want to see Oswald Peraza and Everson Pereira if they can hit. They haven't done much since they got called up. I've been more impressed with Everson, honestly, using right field. He had a couple of nice, there was one I commented on your Instagram where he hit a line drive over the second baseman's head. He doesn't have any idea what to do with a slider right now.
Scary, yeah. The slider and the curve on the outside part of the plate, he has no clue what to do with it at this moment.
And that's a little bit worrisome just because, we've seen so many guys have that problem.
Yeah.
If Austin Wells comes up, it'll be interesting to see what he does against big league pitching. It's not out of the realm of possibility that the Martian gets called up. He's hitting.
I think he has to, man.
478.
Derek, if you're in the business of the New York Yankees, of course, meaning that you got to sell tickets to your fan base going forward. And yes, the Yankees, so it's a lot easier. We understand that. We get that. But if you're reaching out at season's end and you're talking to season ticket holders that are on the fence, that are emailing you back, we see these emails all the time on Twitter. Well, I got to see what you guys are going to do first before I buy. I tell you what, if I am trying to be smart business-wise, I would try to get Dominguez some sort of time up here just to let people know, hey, look, this is the future of the New York Yankees. We saw Dominguez get off to a very, very, he's almost on the same projection that Anthony Volpe was on. He had a terrible first half, fantastic second half, went to AAA for a little while, and he's only played a couple of games. I think he's hitting 4-something with 10 RBIs.
Yeah.
He's been phenomenal in AAA early on. I think you almost have to seriously consider bringing him up.
And the exit velo on everything. It's like, you know, if you
Rockets.
follow it on Twitter, 107, 109, 111. I mean, it's like every time up he hits a rope. Now, is he going to do that? You throw him in the major league lineup? Probably not, but
Yep.
it'll be fun to watch. I mean, I'd rather watch a month of The Martian than a month of, you know, Josh Donaldson trying to come back.
Oh, God, please don't. I mean, please don't do that. Like, do you think there's real possibilities that Donaldson's going to be back in this lineup?
Absolutely. I think he's probably gonna. I think he's gonna play 20 games in September.
No,
Whatever. When is he eligible to come back? Like he's gonna play almost every day because the reason the Yankees are gonna do it is because they want to find out if they want to exercise that option. That's the rule. That's what they're gonna say, and then they're gonna exercise the option, and then me and Pete are gonna both drink poison on the air, live
on air,
and just have an infinite stream because we'll be dead.
Oh my God, man! You just see us decay over time. How long it takes?
Like one-eyed Willie up in this motherfucker.
I'd be like, oh yeah. So Pete's lip just fell off. There's an eyeball. Okay.
I do think Donaldson will play. Like I think that.
Oh my God.
They put him on a phantom IL. There was no reason to put him on the 60-day IL. They wanted to give him a break and get some roster flexibility, but they're going to let him get some at bats, try and make some money. That's what they're going to do.
Yeah. And I do agree with you that I definitely want to see Oswald Peraza go off. I say it every day. I'm like, it's today the day he has that 3-for-4 game. Like he needs one of those games. He needs a ball in the gap, a stolen base, a single, a triple. He needs something more. He needs to show a little more. And it sucks too because there is a pressure on him to perform at this point. There really is. This is a guy who played in the postseason. We know that. And he lost the job in spring, rightfully so. Nobody argues that. Anthony Volpe showed off and showed out. He did his job. He won his position. And, and you could see where the pros outweigh the cons for Anthony Volpe. But with Peraza, I'll be honest, and I've been saying this on game seasons, his defense has been a little shoddy too. He's made a couple of good plays, but there's been a couple of things that I'm like, for a guy who's so known for his defense, you got to make those plays.
Well, he's playing third base. They didn't play him in the minors at third base.
Well, that's the direction you talked about earlier in the year. You flat out said it. Yeah.
Where were they going to play him? And they did the same thing with Trey Sweeney, played him at shortstop all year. Look, if Anthony Volpe is your shortstop for a decade, why in the world are your other top prospects, at least offensively, still playing shortstop?
Makes
You're talking
no
about
sense.
how you need a third baseman, you need a first baseman. Austin Wells, the other day they said, oh, we're going to get him some looks at first base.
I was just going to ask you about that.
Why didn't they do it 2 years ago?
Yeah, well, I mean.
Why wait till now? The same thing they did with Peraza.
Why is he not doing it in AAA right now as we speak? Hey, in September, we're going to get you back up here. Play first base 5 days in a row. Let's see how it goes. Why is that not even happening?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like the Yankees are intentionally tough on these kids. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It feels like they screw with them a lot,
Yep. No doubt
and
about it.
I don't have an explanation for it.
Let me ask you this. Do you have a expectation for Oswaldo Cabrera? Or are you kind of at that point now where it's like, he's probably a bench piece, but is he somebody you bring back next? Like, for an example, if IKF asks for too much money and you don't bring him back, do you just say, Cabrera, you're our guy? You're the super utility guy.
Yeah, I mean, I think they would bring him back just on defensive purposes alone. And he is a switch hitter. He's got a little bit of pop. Maybe you can fix his swing. But to me, he's the biggest disappointment of the whole season. I thought he was going to go off. I predicted him to have like a 4.5 WAR, maybe a 5 WAR. And he's been negative. He's been one of the worst players in Major League Baseball.
Yep.
And I think there's two reasons that a lot of our young guys are not doing as well. And that includes the start that Volpe got off to. And that is Dylan Lawson. he didn't know how to tell you how to get out of a slump or how to correct for a major league pitcher that's attacking your weaknesses. He would say, "Oh, just don't swing at it." It's like the whole Barry Bonds thing. Like when he was in Miami, he was the hitting coach for Giancarlo Stanton. And Stanton said, "Look, man, I'm having trouble laying off the slider." He said, "Just don't swing at it." He said, "Yeah, but I can't. I see it coming and I just can't lay off." And Bonds says, "Well, just don't swing at it." And it's like he couldn't get through. That's what Dylan Lawson was doing. He was saying, "Well, you don't hit the ball well here. You don't hit the ball well here. Just don't swing at it." And he would have them practicing in the areas where they're good instead of trying to get better at their weaknesses. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep,
it's like you hit 900 on pitches middle in. You're going to work on recognizing and hitting pitches middle in, right? That was his strategy. Conversations I've had, a lot of guys were buying into it too. But what Sean Casey is doing is he's trying to teach guys to be more reactive where, if they're pounding you down and in, here's the adjustment you make to take that pitch away for a while. You know what I mean? You don't have to permanently become good at hitting the pitch down and in. You just got to make them get off of that for a couple of weeks and go back to somewhere else.
Yep. No doubt about it. And, you look at guys that are starting to even put it together a little bit. I mean, the best hitter on the Yankees team in the second half so far has been DJ LeMahieu. And I think that's a good thing for multiple reasons, right? One, is he penciled in as possibly an everyday third baseman next year? Or two, his trade value now looks a little more attractive to teams potentially as a guy who could come in and be a top of the order bat still and get the job done. He's been healthy the majority of the season, whether he had a tough first half or not. We've never been told that he's still injured, but the guy we're seeing now in the second half is closer to the MVP level guy that we were seeing than the guy we've seen the last 2 years. What are your take on that? Do you think this is realistic and this is the real DJ?
So I do think he's found something. The numbers show his on-base percentage over the last couple of months, 425. The numbers are there. He's hitting home runs. Here's my issue. You can't play him every day next year because he breaks down. Even this year, if he plays out, he's going to have 130 games played. And he was just battling a calf thing a couple of weeks ago. And then you're looking at postseason, hopefully in the future. So he can't be an everyday third baseman. I do think they'll hang on to him because if he's fixed, if he has found something, he's a contact guy. And the Yankees need more contact guys. But the issue is they also have a lot of other needs. And if he is playing better and you have a chance to get out from under that contract, they should consider it.
Yeah, I think so.
You got to think about it.
I think so. And I'm a big DJ LeMahieu fan, but I agree with you on that. Now, I talked about something, and we've kind of been saying this whole thing the whole time there. When you look forward to the offseason, we know some of the names out there, but there's not like a couple of guys that are like, hey, if we go just throw a bunch of money at these guys, it's kind of a savior to our offense.
Yeah.
The Yankees are going to have to decide that the young guys are going to have to play. We're going to have to give those guys spots and just go, hey, fortunately or unfortunately, they have to play. Now, I'm at the belief where I look at Harrison Bader and I go, it's all good, my guy. You can move on. Not that you're not a good player for a team that has a good offense. Yankees haven't had that, so it kind of makes him show out a little more than he should. Mm-hmm. Same thing with Anthony Volpe. First year, shouldn't have had to be the guy at all. We shouldn't be looking at his average going, man, he's not having the year we expected. We should be seeing the other guys carry it. And Bader was never one of those guys where you're sitting there saying he's going to carry the offense. But what I would say is if you could let him walk, you could bring in Bellinger potentially. Let's just say, I'm not saying that there's not going to be other teams out there that are going to be gunning for him also and going to spend some money. But you got that lefty bat. Jason Dominguez is a switch hitter. Yep. Austin Wells is a lefty. Now you're looking at the Yankee lineup going, holy shit, they got lefty switch, righty, lefty, righty, lefty. Whoa, we're back to what we're supposed to be. And I guarantee you they'll be a better offensive club.
Yeah, there's a few areas where they can really look at. If you get Bellinger and you're not satisfied with what the kids give you at third base, get Candelario, who has done a nice job. He's a switch hitter.
How's he done, by the way, with
killing it with Chicago?
With Chicago, he's doing good.
Killing it, dude.
Well, he's gonna get some money. He's gonna get some money.
He's gonna get paid. For all indications are he's a good guy. But the Yankees are now at a little bit of a disadvantage in recruiting free agency because they're not on the precipice
Yeah.
of winning anymore. You know,
That's
you
right.
might be a year away.
That's right.
That's another reason why it's a gamble, but it could be a positive gamble to call up a red hot Dominguez. You know what I mean?
agree.
If you called him up in September and this guy hits and hits and hits and plays good defense, and you're looking at this saying, hey, we got one of the young stars. We got our own version of like a young Soto, but he's a switch hitter. You know, he's got this very marketable nickname. You've also got Judge. You got Cole still for, you know, probably going to win the Cy Young.
Yep.
Rodon looked better today. It's
Much
like
better.
The core is there. You got it. You got to finish strong. I think somebody like a Dominguez coming. We got to have some young player hit. You know, whether it's Dominguez
No
or
question.
somebody's got to hit. Somebody's got to step up.
No doubt about it. And look, that's why I tell people this all the time. I say, guys, look, the way some people talk about this team, they go, everything got to go. Just get rid of everybody and start new. And I'm like, you know what? But they do have a foundation, to be fair. They just haven't built upon it the right way. They do got. How many teams could sit there and go, well, we have one of the best pitchers in the world, arguably the best pitcher in the American League, at least. Aaron Judge, no doubt about it, is one of the best players in baseball. When he's healthy, he's one of the best players in baseball. Now that we got that on both sides of the ball, now what do we have? We have a shit ton of youth that are basically right there. And on top of that, I'm going to say something now that Yankee fans a lot of times go, it hasn't panned out. The Yankees also have the best young crop of pitching they have ever had. Drew Thorpe looks like just about a finished ready product.
Dude,
Seriously.
He's dominating.
He's about as ready as it gets because he's not a guy that relies on 97, 98. Yeah. He's a pitcher. And let me tell you something, folks. This kid might get a chance even in spring training to earn a spot if they need it. He's that legitimate as in being a complete pitcher. Chase Hampton's a guy that's a little more raw, farther behind, but he has dominating stuff. Yep. So the Yankees have guys on the mend. I believe that this offseason, they are very, very capable of turning things around in a big way. And I'm not usually the guy that's going, everything is well, folks, because everything is not well. There's a lot of tough decisions they're going to have to make in the front office. But if the Yankees go out there, let's just say they decide they're able to move a contract or two, and they bring in a Yamamoto and Bellinger. Those are the top of the top, so who knows if they get the two top guys. But if they did, and then you're saying, we saw some of Dominguez, he was really good. He looked good. He looked ready. Now you're looking at this whole thing and going, another Anthony Volpe second year is going to be better. And you're sitting there going, we're much younger. We're much faster. We're much more athletic. Well, that's all the stuff we wanted. Now we can really build upon something. And we got lefty bats. I think it's not as far away as people think it is.
So let's also think about this. You know, Julio Urias is a free agent too.
It's a good name to look at.
You could go out and get two pitchers and one hitter, like a Bellinger, and then, you know, maybe like a couple of good bench pieces just to solidify your depth, and then like rely on Dominguez in left, maybe one of the kids at third base, you know, take some pressure off of DJ, you know, let him be the 100-game guy.
Yep.
They could, I mean, all we know that they want to do is get to the playoffs anyway. Right? It's not like we're forever away from getting to the playoffs. I don't know if we're going to overtake the Orioles next year. You know, even if all of our young guns hit, we're still not as good as the Orioles, right? Because they're going to be even a year more experienced.
Correct.
But we can win the wild card. We can definitely get into the playoffs and do some damage. You get into the playoffs and you got Garrett Cole, Yamamoto, and then maybe a healthy Rodon or a Urias, somebody like that. Couple of lefty bats in Yankee Stadium. You never know.
Yeah, and that's what I said. It's the potential is there for them to really figure something out because, you know, I'll even harp a little bit on the Carlos Rodon start. Today might be the maddest I've gotten seeing him getting taken out of a game because I'm sitting there watching it and I get it. I understand this is what a second start back. You still are worried about him. Something happened and you wanna make sure he's okay. Here's the thing that got me on that one, Derek. You signed the guy to be the ace behind Garrett Cole. Hell, I was wrong about it because I was saying he was going to make Cole his bitch, and it was kind of like the other way around, right?
Yeah.
But, I'm sitting there saying it's Isaac Paredes coming up. You got to be able to let Rodon go, hey, brother, You've been hurt a lot. You've looked good today. Get this guy out. And if you don't get him out, you're coming out. But you stay in, walk out to the mound and go, get him the fuck out. That's it. And turn around and leave. Show some confidence in these guys.
Yeah, I would have told them, look, you're at 85 pitches, right? You got 5 pitches to get this guy out.
Bingo.
Make him good. Make him good. You put him on base or you have a long at bat. I'll come get you. Get him out.
I'll get you if it's 3-2. I'll get you if it's 2-2 and you don't got him out. I'm coming out there to get you. But get this guy out. Here's
the other thing he could have said. He could have said, hey, look, Aaron, I'm going to be here next year. You won't. Let me worry about that.
Yes. Why couldn't he say that? That would have been legendary. Grunt with the super chat says, love me some Pete and Derek, 2 guys you want to talk MLB with 24/7. I appreciate that, man. Thank you.
Appreciate that.
But no, I mean, you're right. There are ways around building this club and getting this team to where it needs to be going forward. There's no doubt about it concerns. Look, I don't think Brian Cashman is going anywhere. I don't know if there's going to be any limitations on him. I don't know if the whole analytical department's going to be, kind of wiped out. It's kind of comical hearing that guys they brought in like Brian Saban and Mania may be gone because apparently there's some big problem, I guess. It's comical hearing some of that stuff from beat reporters that are apparently in the know that those might be the guys that get kicked to the curb a little bit. And who knows? I got a feeling that Boone may not even be gone. But I don't know how this team ends up so much under 500 that he does come back. But it wouldn't shock me.
Well, I mean, you can't finish under 500 and come back. I mean, they'd have to go on a run to get over 500 this year.
Yeah, no doubt.
I think if you finish under 500, you got to get rid of the manager. I mean, the fan base just will be relentless. They'll not allow that. They will not allow that.
I agree. I'm right there with you. And that's what I've been saying to myself is like, I don't know. I don't know what excuse you could pull out of your ass to go, this is the reason why he's back. Like nothing could make sense. There's nothing there that could truly make sense.
We know that the thing that Hal Steinbrenner has blamed over the last several months is injuries, right? Every time he says, if we're healthy, we're a World Series caliber team.
Yeah.
Well, you're not healthy ever. Any year, every year since 2019, you had the entire roster on the injured list.
Yep.
I don't care who it is. Heads, many heads must roll.
No doubt.
I don't want to hear you got rid of like the coffee guy or the train, one trainer or like I need departments fumigated. I need
wait, say your tweet. Walls painted. New bat company.
Yeah. WB Mason is gone. We're switching to Office Depot. Change the feng shui. We've got to get rid of a lot of the useless crap in this organization. You don't need 30 people making the lineup. Okay. You don't.
It's that is the stuff that just drives me mad, man. Because like I've always said this, man, I'm not against analytics. I'm against the way the Yankees are utilizing it.
If I ran the organization, here's how I would do analytics. I would have one guy who's obviously a nerd, like suit and tie, like even if he doesn't dress like this normal, that's like his official business uniform, like the Poindexter like bow tie with a pocket.
About
protector.
As nerd as you get.
I'm gonna have him dress up like a straight up 60s math nerd, and he's just gonna sit in the clubhouse quietly. Speak when spoken to, my friend. When we need help, we'll find you. And he just sits in the corner. And if you're having trouble, you have a disagreement. What's your input, nerd? And by the way, he doesn't have a name. We
nerd.
Call him. He is nerd. Listen, nerd.
Nerds. Just start doing a nerd movie to him.
Oh man, those are underrated movies, man.
Very underrated movie. I mean, those were the movies that came out. Like the Police Academies. You had those movies. All legendary movies. Ernest. What was my favorite? The Ernest Scared Stupid was my favorite one.
I loved Ernest Saves Christmas.
Yes, that's another good one. Ernest Scared Stupid was legendary to me. But I don't know. We'll see where the Yankees go and what they do. They come up now. They're going to be playing Detroit. I got a good one for you. What would you think? Somebody mentioned this in my chat the other day. Would you accept AJ Hinch as the Yankees manager?
Ooh, that's a good question.
That would your reaction right there, I think, was exactly my reaction. I said, ooh.
That's not like an instinctual yes or no. I would feel I would feel somewhat hypocritical because, there is a standard that, we maintained throughout that whole thing is, we did it the right way. We're going to bring in the guy who did it the wrong way. I don't know. I also had my reservations about Beltran, but he was in the booth for a year. I felt like they were warming us up to get used to Beltran coming in the organization. I don't know, Jeff Lunau, would you accept him as the GM? I mean,
right.
He's a damn good GM.
He's a damn good GM. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, what's Detroit? I mean, Detroit's in third place. They're 59-71. They're not far back from the Yankees.
You know where we're at right now, Pete? It's the end of the night. The club is emptying it out.
We're looking around the room.
We've had a few drinks.
Yeah.
And that broad over there that's holding up the building has been giving us eyes all night. And it's like, I don't know, man. Maybe.
I might have to. I don't know. I might have to. I'm sorry.
Let me get one more drink.
Do it. Yeah. Bartender, another one.
We need some more decision juice over here.
That's it. You need a little more liquid courage in me for a second. Hold on. Oh, man. But, all right, guys. We started this one a little late, so we're not going to do our normal, 45 minutes to an hour show. We're going to get ready to wrap this one up here. Derek, what do you have coming up on the channel? Anything?
So, yeah, as soon as the Yankees get eliminated, I start to roll out. First thing that comes out always every year is a postmortem. You've seen it. Pete's in it. He's got a cameo. It's a comedy piece. It's about 35 minutes long, but it's also an analytical piece. And then after that, we do our list of Yankees that my prediction of who won't be back, 5 for this year, which will be nice and easy this year.
Oh, yeah, I was about to say, I mean, grab your list out, whoever the hell you want. You can keep going. Guys, before you get ready to wrap this one up, do me a favor and smack that like button before you go. But, yeah, man, other than that, Yankees go on to play Detroit in a 4-game series tomorrow. Detroit could actually leave that series with a better record than the Yankees. So we'll actually see what happens there.
I didn't need to hear that.
Yeah, it's absolutely very possible. Detroit is 59-71. The Yankees are 62-68. So you never know if Detroit goes on a little run and they ended up sweeping the Yankees, which who the hell knows, they would actually leave with a better record.
You know what's the worst part about this is because we went over the luxury tax, we can't even get a good draft pick.
No, you can't even tank. You can't even be like,
this
let's just
team
tank.
can't tank correctly.
Nope. They literally do not do anything right. Guys, tomorrow morning, 11 a.m., all rise. Leave a voicemail, 804-592-6160. Make sure you guys tune in for that. Again, all rise is now Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for the remainder of the year. I don't know why I added an additional day when the Yankees suck ass for the final month of the season, but the hell with it. We'll just torture ourselves together. Why the hell not?
Well, right. The way I've been looking at it is we're going to miss a month of games, so we got to make up for lost time somehow.
True. You're right about that. All right, folks. Appreciate you guys. Have a great rest of your night. Until next time, we out. Peace, baby.
Can't make a promise, but I do my best. 25 sitting on 25 racks. Just got started, no, we ain't done yet. But a new crib, that's a goddamn flex. Sign that check. Told them last year that I been up next. Can't take calls, but I send that text. From way downtown, but the shit still.